The following podcast contains alcohol-enhanced conversations about alcohol, as well as a potential for discussions about topics of dubious, disturbing, possibly offensive, but usually hilarious interest. The opinions stated herein are solely of the persons making them, and any endorsement of these opinions by any other party is not implied. Foul language is likely, but intolerant viewpoints are not. Listener intoxication is advised. Hello and welcome to episode 77 of the Whiskey Tangent Podcast. I'm Scott.
I'm Ed.
And today we're doing our fifth deep distillery dive this season. This time a somewhat new, cult-inspiring craft distillery that makes unique pungent expressions born from the Texas heat, Garrison Brothers. Of course, we've tasted Texas craft whiskey on the podcast before, namely Balcones on episode 58, whose whiskeys we mostly didn't care for, and Grayson on a short about a year before that, which we did like quite a bit. So joining us today to help us sort out whether or not we actually do like Texas whiskey, back for the first time in studio in over a year, everyone's favorite bartender, Anders, the master mixologist.
How's it going, everybody?
And now Ed's here to tell us about the 5 big, boisterous Garrison Brothers bourbons we'll be describing and imbibing tonight.
Yeah, we'll talk about a deep dive. We're going in, and some of these are courtesy of our guest tonight. Anders brought a couple of expressions.
He did.
So we're going to start out with their regular old small batch bourbon, 94 proof. Then we're going to get into their honeydew bourbon, which is only 80 proof, but it's delightful from what I understand. And then we got the Guadalupe bourbon, gift from our friends at the Global Whiskey Challenge.
That's right.
And then, did I say the Guadalupe is 107 proof?
I don't know.
All right, well, it is. And the Balmorhea bourbon is 115 proof, and then we'll come back and finish the night with their potent Cowboy bourbon, 131.3 proof. And Scott's going to kind of tell you what we're doing first.
That's right. So we'll, like we usually do a little history of the distillery that we're focusing on today. This is from an article titled Bourbon Vision, The Origins of Garrison Brothers Distillery by John Page for Craft Spirits Magazine. And Anders can insert any little tidbits because he's actually met these guys.
I've met one of the Garrison brothers.
Was it Dan or Charlie?
Charlie.
Charlie, okay.
So Dan and Charlie, in true brotherly fashion, basically divide the U.S. in half for the most part. They'll visit different bars, restaurants, liquor stores representing their little distillery. And wherever they go, Charlie usually talks a lot of shit about Dan, and Dan talks a lot of shit about Charlie.
That's funny. There's some of that in this history, actually.
It's pretty great.
Yeah. Some of that in this room some days.
That's definitely true.
So I've had the opportunity to meet Charlie twice now.
Oh, cool.
He's a really cool guy, and we have a bit of a rapport, and really enjoyed talking to him.
Well, we'll have to send this episode to him.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. All right, so I'll just start with the history. So you guys remember Enron? Remember that whole scandal? Yeah. Mm-hmm. So that has to do with this. If the whole Enron thing didn't happen, we wouldn't have Garrison Brothers today.
Well, I mean, I know we're looking for a silver lining, but wow.
I know, right? All right, so after the Enron scandal of 2001 that bankrupted the software company where he worked, Dan Garrison, then 40 years old, was looking for a change. During a tour of Kentucky distilleries, he started writing a business plan and seeking out experts for their advice. But many he spoke to told him some combination of the following 3 discouraging things. 1, he had to make vodka first. 2, he had to start off sourcing other people's whiskey. Or 3, real bourbon couldn't come from Texas. Complicating matters, Texas didn't even have any distilleries at the time, nor any official roadmap for getting one started. According to his younger brother Charlie, Dan's vision to start the first legal whiskey distillery in Texas was, quote, a total pipe dream. Dan said to me one day, I'm going to make the best bourbon in the world. And I'm looking at him like, right, and I'm going to fly to the moon. But Dan stuck to his plan, overcoming several legal challenges and his own family's pessimism, and finally received both state and federal distilling permits by the end of 2008. That's always been Dan's unbelievable gift, says Charlie, who is now the distillery's national sales director. He has a vision and he holds it, and yet Dan constantly doubted himself himself. During that first summer, the Texas heat cracked some barrel staves, causing a massive leak and many sleepless nights, and he worried that his product wouldn't even taste like bourbon. But he needn't have worried, recalls Dan. When I tasted it, I went, yeehaw, we did it. Not only did it taste like bourbon, it was rich and full-bodied with texture and umami like I've never tasted before. Master distiller Adonis Todd believes it's a combination of elements that makes Garrison Brothers different: the high calcium water, the locally farmed grain, the custom barrels with thicker staves, and the brutal Texas summers. But what Dan and Charlie believe makes their bourbon extraordinary is actually Master distiller Adonis Todd himself. You see, back in 2007, Adonis was an Air Force veteran who decided to rejoin civilian life to spend more time with his young son. He had grown up near his grandfather, who distilled illegally, and he had sought out distilling opportunities in Korea and Japan while in the Air Force. So when he read about Dan receiving the first spirits permits in Texas, Adonis visited the ranch without an invitation. Dan recalls saying, "Who are you and what are you doing in my still house?" Adonis said, "My name is Adonis Todd and I want to make bourbon." And I said, "Well, you can't make it here because I ain't got any money and I can't pay you." And he said, "Well, I'm not going anywhere and you look like a smart man, so I'm sure you'll figure something out." And now, in my opinion, Adonis is the best bourbon maker in America. Today, with rich, multiple core, and limited releases that rely heavily on experimental cask finishes, Garrison Brothers bourbon is available in 32 states and 8 countries. They've won numerous awards for their lineup, and fans flock to their distillery in High Texas for special releases. In addition, the distillery raised more than $500,000 for veterans, hospitality workers, parks, and more through its charitable arm, Good Bourbon for a Good Cause, which echoes the statement embossed on every Garrison Brothers bottle that reads, "Good bourbon can change the world."
It's an amazing story.
It is pretty cool.
I really like the fact that the master distiller showed up.
Yeah.
No, I said, "What are you doing in my still house? I want to make bourbon with you." "We can't make it here."
I sound like a crazy person. Scott, what's the name of that person that shows up at our podcast and tries to be on the Oh, Gabe. That's right. We let him. That's right. I forgot.
We actually let him, though.
We let him
Yeah.
stay.
He's not even here and you're still talking shit.
That's I always talk about him
Always.
because we miss him.
Always. It's constant.
I know.
Yeah, it's my way to let him know that he's always thought of.
Yeah. We're hoping to have him on the next episode.
Yeah. So,
Okay.
so stay by your phone, Gabe. The reality is that this has all been an extensive trying to get a better contract, and we realize, just like the Garrison Brothers, we have no money to pay them.
but what the funny thing is like we do miss him. He hasn't been on in a while, but he's been on 7 podcasts this year.
I know, Whiskey Madness.
Right, it was
Yeah.
the madness that got him 5. That's 5 right there.
Yeah, and that was all right in a row. So
We'll bring Anders back next year for that.
yeah, that'd be great. They worked well when they both were on it. You know?
Oh, that was fun.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun, especially with Holliker and Gabe.
Well, Gabe, I hope you've had a good weekend and month, and hope to see you soon.
All right, so let's taste the first one, the small batch bourbon. Enjoying a bottle of small batch is an experience unlike any other. It's everything rich and good about bourbon without the bite. Our bourbon is amber crimson like a Texas sunset, darker, richer, and fuller than almost any other bourbon on the market. We don't source whiskey from elsewhere, and we never will. Our bourbon is made from corn to cork in High Texas, 1 barrel at a time. It's handcrafted from a sweet mash of premium #1 food grade corn, soft red winter wheat from local farms, and 2-row barley. It's 94 proof. The age is 4 years. The mash specifics is 74% corn, 15% red winter wheat, 11% malted barley. It's about $80, but I got the boot flask, which is a $3.75 for $46.
Frugal.
Well, I don't know. These bourbons can be polarizing. You either like it or you don't.
Yeah. So part of the reason for the pricing is you alluded to the broken staves.
Yeah.
When they first started making bourbon, they locked up the rick house and they go back in, just to check in on it after like a year so they don't dip in it too early. And the staves on the majority of their barrels were broken. The reason why is because of the Texas heat. Mm-hmm. The cooperage that they were using couldn't withstand the massive expansion and contraction in the desert heat during the day versus the desert cool at night. And so they lost the majority of their product and had to find a cooper that would make barrels that could accommodate the environment.
And it's probably more expensive to make those barrels.
Oh, yeah.
Number one.
I think it was like somewhere in Oklahoma or something like that.
Not as expensive as losing almost all your whiskey.
Exactly.
Oh, no. That's a couple $1 million lost like instantly.
Yeah. And because of the heat also, even if it doesn't leak out, you're losing it to the angel share.
Yeah.
A whole lot of it. Mm-hmm. So that is what you're paying for. You're paying for basically the stuff that was lost.
However, what you are getting in return is what is left over almost gets rapidly aged without using smaller barrels. So you get more oak character from it. And Garrison Brothers in particular has this really beautiful darker color to it.
Yeah, it is. It's gorgeous.
Yeah.
So it definitely has a very interesting nose. I think probably because of the malted barley and the winter wheat, but also probably because of the aging process that we just talked about with the heat in the rick houses and all.
Yeah, I'm getting like raisins, light fruits also. That papery vinyl-y quality that you get off of your young whiskey. This is aged 4 years.
Yeah.
Although that's not very young and also not for Texas, but I'm kind of getting those notes.
Yeah, I'm getting like a creaminess to it. Maybe a little grape, actually. Not like a wine grape, but just like a sweet, crisp grape.
I get like peanut kind of note on the nose.
Like a peanut brittle.
There's something a little bit off-putting on the smell at the end. Like you said, it's kind of vinyl-y, but
Yeah.
But let's taste it and see if it carries through.
Right. Sometimes I sniff and I smell it, and sometimes I sniff and I don't. Oh, I mean,
Wow, not quite what I expected. It's very, very sweet up front.
Yeah.
Very sweet. I don't get any of the vinyl on the finish like I did with the Balcony stuff. You know, Balcony's to me had an off-putting finish.
I definitely get more of the raw wood than a vinyl-y thing that I was getting on the nose.
Yeah.
It tastes like raw wood, but also coated in sugar.
Man, it's one of the sweetest sugar-forward bourbons I've ever had.
Yeah.
And and what makes it not as cloying is that raw wood taste also. It kind of balances very nicely, but very uniquely. Like, I can see why this is polarizing. I can see why people I'll have a bourbon, and they try this, and that's not bourbon.
Yeah.
That doesn't taste like what I'm used to.
The mash bill is the 74 1511 isn't too far from like the Wild Turkey, like 75 1510.
Yeah.
So I feel like it is a very traditional, sweet,
And like Maker's Mark also,
yeah.
it's close to.
Yeah. But that oak characteristic definitely balances out a lot of the sweetness.
The sweetness stays all the way through for me. So do you have tasting notes on this?
I do, yeah. Bourbon culture. On the nose, youthful, raw, grainy corn with notes of caramel, sweet tea, cigar wrapper, leather, and a bit of maple. On the palate, chocolate, leather, oak char, pepper, butterscotch pudding, and bit of honey's candies. On the finish, chocolate, leather, and oak still dominate, but then turn sweeter with notes of caramel, honey, and Kahlua liqueur. So he's getting some like coffee and chocolate on this.
I agree that it was sweet in the beginning and sweet at the end, which is kind of rare for a whiskey, in my opinion.
Yeah.
A very, very good base whiskey, if this is your flagship product, you know what I mean?
Yeah. I'm surprised. I guess surprise isn't the word, but our experience with Balcones and their base expression was not good. Like, we did not like that.
And it smelled Balcony-ish a little bit.
It did.
Which got me concerned for a second, but this is actually very good.
It is. And so I'm wondering, maybe our palates have evolved since then, or maybe this is actually better than Balcones.
I don't think Balcony's was that long ago that my palate has changed that much.
2 years ago.
All right, so the one that I don't see how we can't like it.
I know. So the next one is the Honeydew Bourbon. Our award-winning small batch bourbon whiskey is infused with Burleson's Texas wildflower honey, resulting in smooth, light dram with sweet honey finish. Master Distiller transformed our used bourbon barrels into small wooden cubes that were immersed in honey. After fully absorbing it, they were placed in the belly of a stainless steel tank with the bourbon, letting it soak up those delicious honey flavors. So they did that for 7 months, and they got this. So it's the same mash bill as before, the 74 corn, 15 wheat, 11 malted barley. The proof is 80. The price is also 80, but I got it at Canals for $67.
Boom.
Good gosh, that's good. I'm perplexed because I feel like the nose is not as sweet as the first one we had.
No, but it smells like honey.
Yeah.
Raw honey.
I'm not getting it, though.
You're not getting any honey? Honey?
I'm getting all the notes I had on the last one.
Stop calling me honey.
Except it's not as sweet. And I figured one that's infused with honey should be dripping with sweetness.
Well, you're right that on the nose it's not very sweet, but I smell honey, which is maybe an odd statement. Okay, let me do it this way. I'm smelling the floralness from a honey, not necessarily the sweetness of a honey. Maybe that's where I'm getting.
I understand. Honey definitely has a distinct smell, for sure.
Yeah. You're not getting any of that, though?
No. The vinyl paper woody smell is really dominating on this right now. That's all I'm smelling.
It's there as well, yeah. That I can smell.
So I've gone back and tried to find the honey. I still can. I'm just not going to lie and say I can. So for whatever reason, I believe that you two are smelling honey. I'm just not.
You don't have to believe that we're smelling honey.
So let's taste it before I burn out my nose. Oh, wow. I can taste honey. There's the honey.
Oh, yeah.
Wow. That is just delicious, isn't it? And that little slice of heaven.
Oh, you like it?
Oh, God. Yeah, man. Where was this when I was like 13 or 14 trying to learn how to drink? I'm just kidding. You kids stay in school.
Anders actually was telling me before, Ed, you got here, he was telling me about the honey infused and how it was created by Dan's wife.
So the impetus for it, I believe, was from Dan's wife. Dan never wanted to make anything that was flavored, and he didn't want to do anything that was 80 proof. And she was drinking another, like, honey flavored whiskey.
Was it Jack Daniel's Tennessee honey?
I believe it was Tennessee honey.
Yeah.
And then she just goes up to him and, can you make this?
He's like, yes, dear.
All right. So he wanted to do it his way, and that's where he got the idea of controlling the amount of honey by doing the infusion of like the honey soaked in oak.
Right.
So they could control the amount of honey going in and
get more oak in there.
And get more oak in there as well in order to balance it out. And so the name, of course, is an allusion to that where, you read the name and it's like, there's no honeydew in there, but it's like a honeydew.
Honeydew this. Yeah.
Oh, that makes a lot of sense. Yeah. I was wondering about the name.
Yeah.
But yeah, on the nose, I get that kind of floral, waxy honey note.
It certainly isn't like a liqueur. There's a burst of initial sweetness.
Yeah.
But then you get the complexity of the oak. And like you said, this is almost kind of like a double oaked as well because it's going in a second barrel. I mean, that barrel's already been used.
Yeah, I'm definitely getting the raw wood quality I got off the first one. It is a lower proof, so that is bringing down any, I don't know, maybe off notes we tasted before.
Yeah.
And the infusion of the honey, like, it's there, but like the smell, I'm getting less sweetness than I'm getting herbaceousness, even though I am getting sweet. And that makes it, I think, a lot better than the Jack Daniel's Tennessee honey.
Or any of the other honey expressions of, like, flavored whiskeys.
Yeah.
I mean,
It goes to what you're saying, Ed. It's not a liqueur.
Right.
So if you're getting this and you're thinking it might be a liqueur, it's not.
No, it's a whiskey, without a doubt. And the first one is actually sweeter in some ways than this one.
Yeah.
And in other ways, this is way more sweet, the way it presents.
Right, because this is definitely a light, sugary sweetness, where the other one's a little darker.
And where this one is, I think the sweetness hits you all up front, and then you get this kind of herbaceous finish. The other one was sweet, herbaceous, and then sweet.
Yeah. We have tasting notes from Drink Hacker. On the nose, mesquite wood, barrel char, and chocolate. Again, chocolate. Honey syrup, orange peel, subtle floral notes. Except for the chocolate, which I'm not tasting on any of this, but really other people apparently. Yeah. On the palate, lush and round mouthfeel with heavily caramelized sugar, barrel char, black tea, and brown butter. It's a little darker than I think we thought it was. And on the finish, brighter than the palate with notes of cream soda, orange zest, and old-fashioned butterscotch candies.
Oh. I get a little bit of like the black tea, like the tannins, but that could also be just some of the woodiness as well.
Yeah.
And then some of the orange note, some of the orange zest kind of notes as well, but that's also really common with honey as well.
I can taste the cream soda now. Like, that wasn't something that I was thinking in my head that this tasted like, but I'm kind of getting that.
I kind of smelled that on the first one. Remember I said smelling something creamy?
Creamy, yeah, you did.
I can kind of get a cream soda note on that,
Actually, the more I drink it now, the more I like it. It was a little bit too woody when I first started it, but now I'm drinking more. Man, this is sessionable. Like, I can just keep on drinking this.
Yeah, this could get you in trouble.
Really good.
It has a little bit more in common, I'd say, with like a rum barrel finish than a flavored whiskey.
Because of the herbaceous notes.
Yeah, because of the herbaceous notes, a lot of rum finished whiskeys and ryes tend to go from like sweetness into like a spice herbaceous kind of thing, and it follows that same kind of track.
Interesting.
All right, so we're going to clean some glasses, and we're going to come back with the Guadalupe bourbon at 107 proof and the Balmorhea bourbon 115 proof.
All right, we'll be right back. Okay, so we are back, and Ed has a description of the third whiskey that we're drinking, the Guadalupe Bourbon.
Right. It's the perfect marriage of bourbon and port, aged first in toasted and charred white American oak barrels, and then in beautiful port casks imported from Portugal. Guadalupe is the same award-winning Garrison Brothers Texas straight bourbon you love, with a delicate sweet port wine finish. It's a sensuous, creamy liquid, exploding with unique flavors and character. Wait, start getting a little... It's a sensuous, creamy liquid, exploding with unique flavors and character, making it the perfect bourbon for connoisseurs and sophisticated palates. We'd like you to consider Guadalupe as your dessert bourbon and encourage you to enjoy it with clothes or without. Pair it with your favorite chocolates. We can't wait for you all to try it. Guadalupe bourbon, with a moment that no one can miss.
I think I got the vapor. Is it hot in here, Anders?
Oh,
So this,
Go ahead.
This is actually very interesting, though.
Yeah.
Proof is 107. Age is 4 years, but then it was aged 2 more years in the port barrels. That's a long time to be finished.
Yeah. Especially in Texas.
Yes, it's a long time in Texas, and I think we should mention that 4 years in Texas is not like 4 years in Kentucky.
Yeah.
Probably closer to, what would you say, Anders? What's a 4-year bourbon in Texas? Like a 6? Is it that much?
Yeah, like at least 50% more.
At least a 6, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So this is aged for a total of 6 years, which is closer to a 9 year. So that's how it's going to hit you. The mash is, again, 74% corn, 15% red winter wheat. Say that a couple times. 11% barley. The price is around $160, but not to us because we were gifted a partial bottle.
That's right.
With a decent amount in it, by the way.
Yeah, beep, beep, beep.
From our
Hear that,
friends
cool.
at the Global Whiskey Challenge.
Yeah.
All right, so it's in our number 1 neat glass. Giving it a swirl here to see where this fits in. We would have thought maybe the honey would have been a dessert one, but no. They're like, let's go to 107 proof.
Yeah.
So it's the same juice, but it's not proofed down as much, and it's finished. The nose is very different now.
Ooh.
The port is all over the nose.
It's so caramely and grapey sweet wine flavors.
Yes, syrupy, grapey, sweet wine. You're so right on that. Delicious smelling, but it's the sweetest of the noses so far.
It's darkly sugared smell, and I'm not getting any of that papery vinyl-y thing that we were getting on the other two.
There is none of that off-putting note. Once again, that didn't follow into the taste. I want to be clear on that, but it definitely is a strong nose that we got.
I should mention that at the Global Whiskey Challenge, where we got this from, they rated it very highly. They gave it 96 points on their scale.
And I believe since they had it there, it had to have been in the top 10, right?
Yeah, it won double gold.
Right.
Correct.
So it was, I don't know if it's top 10, but it was one of their top performers at the event.
I think 9. I think they had 9. Okay. They took everything that was above 90 in their scale from their 3 competitions. I mean, it smells amazing. I mean, I love the smell of this. I'm getting graham crackers.
Yeah.
Wow.
And toffee. And
I just sipped it.
Oh.
Wow. This is extraordinary compared to the first 2 we had, which were good. Don't get it twisted. They were good. But this one, can see why this one was in the competition.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
This tastes like Rachel's bourbon cookies with the Chinese 5-spice and the molasses. And sometimes she mixes miso in there. So I'm getting the kind of that funkiness of the soy ferment.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that spice. I got a little molasses on the nose too, and definitely it's there in the palate.
The molasses is so thick and rich in that.
Port is just so coming through. Like I'm literally feel like I'm drinking a port and a whiskey at the same time.
Yeah, there's that almost raraspberry chocolate kind of thing going on.
All right, now I'm tasting chocolate on this.
Yeah, absolutely. There's chocolate on this one. Anders, you said you hadn't tasted it for like a year and a half?
Yeah, we had got a bottle or 2 into the lounge about a year and a half ago, and I remember cracking it open because I hadn't had it before. It's definitely up my alley. I mean, if anybody's kind of tracked things that I absolutely love, I'm a sucker for like a expensive dessert whiskey.
Yeah.
And this is that.
This is terrific. We've been critical in the past of port finished bourbons.
Yes.
But a bourbon from Texas like this that has so much deep character to it, I think the port works better with that
And
than
just
it
rested
does.
for so long.
Yeah,
Too.
than it would with Angel's Envy bourbon. Like that's just a bourbon sourced from I don't know where.
Right.
And it's a traditional bourbon. The port doesn't really match as well with that as I think it does with this.
It really matches well. It's a delicious combination. The Guadalupe is one of the best finished bourbons I've ever had.
Oh my God, it's awesome. It's just so awesome.
Yeah.
I often find too that like with port finishes, I prefer a rye for the contrast to get a little bit more spice. This doesn't need that at all.
No.
Like it naturally has those spice notes,
Yeah.
and that richness. Proofage at 107, which I mean, some of the best whiskeys in the world are 107 proof in my opinion.
Me too. Scott knows that's my favorite place to be.
It's so true because we weren't getting a whole lot of baking spices on the original version, but this one has them in spades.
Yes.
And then when you combine it with the sweetness, just as you were saying, this is incredible whiskey.
Incredible.
Oh my God.
They should maybe just make this.
Oh, if only they did that all the time.
Do you have Charlie's number? Just call him Charlie. Just make this.
But honestly,
Guadalupe all the time.
thank God they don't because everything's been extremely unique today themselves.
Yeah, so this did win the top awards this year at both the San Francisco World Spirits Competition and the Ascots. Double gold at San Francisco and double platinum at Ascot.
Oh, that guy. He's cool.
Fred Minnick? Yeah. Jersey boy. Call us. I've tasted notes from Breaking Bourbon. See how well we did. On the nose, bold and interesting with candied dark fruit, dense seasoned oak, sweet vanilla custard. That's interesting. On the palate, flavors explode on the tongue with black raspberry, plum, peppery oak, tobacco, dark chocolate, coffee-infused creme brulee, and emerging cinnamon spice.
I mean...
Yeah, we were right there.
I can't argue with that. That's a spectacular tasting note. Looking at you, Barrel.
Yeah. On the finish, persistent with more cinnamon spice and peppery oak, plus dark fruits, chocolate, and custard flavors that hold on as the finish fades.
Yeah, it's great. Very, very fruit-forward finish. Say that a bunch of times, Saunders. Fruit-forward finish. Fruit-forward finish.
Fruit-forward finish?
Fruit-forward finish.
How about, what was the other one? Irish wristwatch.
Irish wristwatch.
See?
Irish wristwatch.
Irish wristwatch.
The lips, the teeth, the tip of the tongue.
All right, move on to the Balmorhea.
Which was brought to us today by our dear friend Anders.
Yes, thank you. Anders.
Love that guy.
I love the guy. He's so cool.
In 2013, their master distiller, Dallas Todd, filled 22 new American white oak barrels with freshly distilled 114 proof White Dog spirit. Barrels were then aged in the relentless West Texas heat for 2 years. 2 years later, Dallas dumped the liquid into stainless steel tanks, then rolled a few 27-gallon Kelvin cooperage barrels from Louisville, Kentucky, below the tank spigot and filled them with the already 2-year-old straight bourbon. 2 years after that, the bourbon was dumped into a long, thin stainless steel trough we call the Whiskey Girl, and we all began nosing and tasting the results. After rounds of tear-filled high fives and brotherly hugs, we would finally be able to get this sensational liquid to market. Proof 115 is aged 2 years and then 2 years, so I guess it's a double barrel, right?
Yeah.
The mash is the same, 74% corn, 15% red winter wheat, and 11% malted barley. The price is around $180. Anders, you can or cannot tell us where and when you got this?
You don't have to.
You don't have to. You could just say, I got it for less than that and keep moving.
Actually, I'll tell you exactly.
Oh.
So when we did our first whiskey tasting over at the local, and Charlie shows up and we're shooting the shit, and he goes like, yeah, I was at Total Wine and More, and there was like 5 bottles of Garrison Brothers Balmorhea. You can't find that shit anywhere. And I'm not the kind of person either with the budget or the lack of manners to just buy all of someone's stock outright.
Yeah. People do, though.
But in this occasion, after drinking it, I was like, I could get most of them. I did pretty well this month. So I got 3 bottles.
Oh, you got 3. Okay, that was nice.
I love that story. That story's better than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah. He told me, and then I had a buddy of mine who wanted one and wasn't able to make it. And then I stopped by first thing in the morning when they opened, and I got 4. And I gave one
so
to
you actually did get 4. Oh, okay.
I did, yeah.
And you left 1 for the pack to eat.
That's right.
Someone would find out how good it was.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But at that point in time, it was limited release. I think there was only a couple of cases in the state.
Wow.
Right.
There was only maybe like 6 cases that were released that year. Ooh. So that's 36 bottles. I got 4 of them.
Right. That's when you put in perspective.
4 of 1.
What's that, 1/9?
Yeah, something like that.
Oh, look at the brain on sky.
Well, we're about to find out if Anders was justified in buying all 4 of the bottles.
Do you remember what the price was back then?
Less than 160.
Yeah, I was going to think closer to 150.
Yeah, this is like 5 years ago, so it was a little bit less, but it was more than 100, and
right. So you dropped around $5 on it. So,
yeah, and I got reimbursed for one of them, but like it was the sort of thing where I was like, I'm gonna do this because I can, and I'll just sit on them for as long as I need to.
Okay, so that's probably not the same as this one. Or is this the same batch? You think of what was released, or do they release every year?
They started releasing more batches.
I mean,
so this is a different batch.
This is a different batch. Yeah.
The description we read was from 2013, which is 11 years ago. So this is certainly not the same.
Right. That's That's what I just wanted to say. This won't be exactly what's out now, but it'll be close enough.
But the process is the same.
Exactly. That's what I wanted to mention.
Yeah.
Right.
Thank you.
And again, mentioning the fact that 4 years in Texas is not 4 years.
No.
Because you might ask yourself, how dare you, have a $180 bottle that's 4 years old?
And you may ask yourself, my God, what have I done? And the days go by, water flowing on.
And the crickets earn money.
Here they come again. Once in a lifetime. All right. Woo! Scott had a gummy.
Ready for that. That's hysterical.
Think
All right,
of the
let's
children.
smell the
Balmorhea.
Balmorhea.
I just
Okay. Wow.
I went
Okay.
to smell it, and the vapor burned my eye.
Yeah.
Oh,
this.
no,
this
you
is,
got the vapors. Huh?
Yeah. This is significantly hotter on the nose than the other ones have been.
And
Ooh.
it's not a better nose than the Guadalupe, but it's definitely a very unique nose.
You know what? It's more traditional bourbon smells I'm getting off of
Yes.
this. Like the very light cherry scent and the lighter caramel and the oak and the corn.
All that.
But with I did say a light cherry, but there's another fruity element in there also.
And definitely some of the oak spice is there.
Yeah.
Without a doubt, because it is so, it is a double barrel.
Like I'm getting a little bit of like cinnamon graham cracker on this also.
Yeah, I'm getting cinnamon for the first time. I didn't get it on the other ones, so maybe it's a double barrel that's bringing it out. Not sure.
The fruit to me is really prominent. I'd say like if you're a fan of those like very like stone fruit, cherry forward
Yeah.
whiskeys. So like
Yes.
Russell's 10-year, Eagle Rare.
Very black cherry.
Yeah.
But it's like really dense.
Yeah.
Take a sip.
She thick.
THICC.
Oh.
Oh. Okay.
Wow.
Yeah, it tastes like one of the barrel proof things, like Elijah Craig barrel proof or
Yeah.
Larceny barrel proof. Actually,
Yeah.
that's kind of the flavor I'm
Ooh.
getting. You know what I mean? Like this doesn't taste anything really like
No.
what we've had before.
No,
This is
it's far more traditional.
far more.
So the one thing that I get from this is white chocolate.
Oh,
Like
interesting.
we've had a lot of chocolate notes from it, but there's like more of that like fatty kind of creamy.
Right.
To
Acknowledging that white chocolate is not chocolate is essential in this podcast because Scott has a real problem with white chocolate.
I do have a problem with white chocolate, but I'm okay because Scott took a gummy.
There we go. I get that a little bit more oak and then grassy notes, stone fruit.
Wow, this is really good too. I don't know if it's better than the Guadalupe,
It's right there, though, man.
but it's right there.
It's a high
I agree.
quality whiskey.
Yeah.
I just put some water in it.
So I used to go to this Indian restaurant and they had candy coated fennel seeds. And I got a little bit of note of that.
The water's going to open up sweetness and fruit flavors.
Oh, I just swallowed it really quickly and got like a corn chip kind of flavor. The corn really came out. Did you guys drop water in this?
I just did.
Oh,
Yeah.
you did? Because we didn't before on any of the other ones.
I
Didn't
mean,
really
the
need
proof
it.
is going up, you know.
Yeah,
And
the proof is going up,
I
that's
did
true.
in the Guadalupe, but it wasn't.
It didn't do much.
Yeah, it was just I was enjoying it all the way through, and
Yeah.
if anything, I
Yeah.
felt like it watered it down more than I needed it to be because
yeah.
it was perfect at 107.
It's perfect.
The 115, like you said, is this one's a little bit hotter. So
Oh, yeah. It's really good.
all the fruit flavors come out, and it really
Fruit flavors, and I get more cinnamon.
and it beats down the alcohol just enough to open up some more flavors. So really good.
Whew.
All right.
Amazing.
So these have just been getting better, though you can argue between the first small batch bourbon and the honeydew, which one you liked better. They're both very good.
You want to do the tasting notes?
Oh, so yeah, I'm sorry. Absolutely.
The tasting notes, whiskey in my wedding ring. Wedding ring. See, I can't say it. Iris Richwa.
Fuck.
Whiskey in my wedding ring. We met him
Yeah.
at a Scotch tasting.
Yeah, he's up in New York.
Up in
he's
New
up
York.
in like Brooklyn.
Oh,
or somewhere.
cool.
Yeah, he reviewed this on the nose, tons of heat, vanilla, caramel, brown sugar, menthol, honey, and maple. On the palate, bourbon candy, maple sugar, brown sugar, caramelized banana, deep dark stewed fruits with a delicious burn. And on the finish, mouth-watering with tons of maple, runts and nerds candies, and maple everywhere.
Interesting.
Maple. I mean,
Yeah.
that wasn't really what we kind of went to, but
Yeah.
it's definitely there.
Yeah, it's there. It's part of the sweetness.
I think runts are funny because for
runts.
me, I only think of one runt.
The banana.
Yeah, it's so one runt to roll them all.
Yeah, exactly. It's funny. Like if you ever go to those bulk candy places, I would literally go there and just fish out.
The bananas.
You can't do it all, of course,
Yeah.
because they'll throw you out.
I feel like you've done this.
I did. I'm not lying. Yeah, I take one healthy real scoop and then go right to the bananas.
Banana runts.
Yes.
Okay. Did you taste banana on this though? Because he tasted caramelized banana on the palate and he had runts on the finish.
Yeah.
Do you taste banana?
I don't, but
Yeah.
like you said, every 4 years it's a new batch of this, so we don't know what bottle he got. This bottle's 5 years old. He could be tasting the new stuff.
He is.
Yeah.
This is more recent. Yeah.
Right, so I can't quibble because I guarantee you that as much difference as we've tasted between Larceny Barrel Proofs and Booker's,
Yeah.
there's no way that these don't have differences.
Yeah.
And I'm just trying to avoid saying Balmorhea, but
You just did it.
I
You
know.
said it correct.
I don't know why, but it's really intimidating to me.
You've had less of a problem than I've had with it.
About Balmorhea, I think that if we was to get the first one that came out,
Sure.
I guess in 2017,
Yeah.
and then the ones that came out each year after that, and put them all together, I bet that we'd be able to taste distinctly different things. So I have no doubt that that he's tasting caramelized banana on his particular bottle. We just don't have it on ours.
Sure.
One thing I'll add on is where the name Balmorhea comes from. It's a state park in High Texas.
Okay.
And their first run, I think part of the proceeds went in order to help preserve the park.
Yeah, they had given $500,000 to veterans groups and hospital workers and parks, and so they're good guys.
They are good guys.
Outstanding. So we only have one more to taste.
That's right.
This is another gift from Andres for today, the Cowboy Bourbon.
Cowboy Bourbon.
131.3 proof.
Yeah, you know what else we're going to do? The top 10 fun facts about Texas.
We'll do that right now? Or?
No, when we come back.
All right.
Giddy up. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Whiskey Tangent. It's your boy Anders here with Ed and Scott. And Scott is going to tell us a little bit about the great state of Texas.
That's right. Top 10 fun facts about Texas.
Well, first of all, I didn't know there was 10 things good about Texas.
Damn.
Texas shade.
Texas shade.
Something else they don't have a lot of.
Well, that's why their whiskey's so good, apparently.
Evidently.
All right, so these are the top 10 fun facts about Texas that I could find.
Is the Alamo in there? I hope the Alamo's in there.
No.
Well, then there's 11.
It has a bonus fact. Bonus fact.
Bonus fact. Alamo.
About, Six Flags is
Six Flags? No, that's one.
12. Wow, we're just
12. Wow.
20% increase.
It's so
Wow,
much-
we're making Texas better.
I'll
buddy.
stop at 5 and you guys can do bonus facts.
All right.
Okay, so number 10. Texas used to be its own country.
Yes.
This might come as no surprise to history buffs like Ed, or Texans for that matter, but between 1836 and 1845, Texas was an independent nation and later became the only state in the U.S. to join through a treaty rather than by annexation.
The Lone Star Republic.
Correct.
And the way they did that, Scott,
Yes.
because they owed a lot of money. So the Congress didn't want to take them in. So Sam Houston, the president of the Lone Star Republic,
Yeah.
he started acting like he was going to make a treaty to become part of England.
Oh.
And the thought of having a big, giant English state in the middle of our country freaked everybody out.
Yeah.
He never really wanted to do that.
Oh,
but
that was a
complete bluff.
strategic thing that he
He
did.
knew that they would
Wow.
flip out over that. So, I mean, I guess if we had balked at bringing him in, he might have actually considered it, but he knew,
Right.
he knew just feigning to do that would work, and it did.
Oh, fascinating.
And then they became the Lone Star State, and we helped pay down all their debts, and yet they still don't appreciate us.
They love, I shouldn't generalize about Texas, but.
Sure you can.
Okay, yeah. Texas loves being like, hey, we were our own country, we'll do it again.
It's
and
true.
It's like,
We'll do it again.
Right, you didn't do it really good back then.
Texas shade.
Yeah. Number 9. In Texas, it's illegal to milk someone else's cow.
Oh, I mean, it's totally fair.
It's ungentlemanly.
I don't think you even need a law about that. It's just common practice.
Right. So it's not a euphemism, milking someone else's cow, but the law dates back to their 1925 penal code, which states that anyone who milked another person's cow without consent could be fined up to a whole $10.
Well, it could be stealing milk, right? The only reason you would milk someone else's cow would be to take their milk. Of
course.
Unless you're just a freak.
Just pouring the milk all over you.
Yeah,
Oh, cow's milk. Oh my God, it feels so good.
No, just squirting it everywhere.
Makes my skin so soft.
Everyone's got their own kinks, man.
Oh, you just hate them. You just hate your neighbor. Like, look, it's all over the ground. I'm wasting your milk. Fuck you.
Oh my God.
As long as you're stealing milk safe and sanely and
Hey, that's not a cow.
That's not milk. All right, moving on. Number 8. Texas is home to 2 of North America's largest colonies of bats.
Wow. I was waiting for you to stump me. There we are.
With an estimated 20 million plus bats, Bracken Cave in San Antonio is home to the largest known bat colony in all of North America. In addition, the bats that famously fly out nightly from under the Congress Avenue Bridge that spans Lady Bird Lake in Austin represent the largest known urban colony of bats in the U.S. at an estimated 1.5 million.
Wait. What city?
Austin.
And 1.5 million bats live in Austin?
Yeah, under a bridge.
Under
the
bridge.
same bridge?
Yeah.
How much guano is there?
I know. So I was there. We went for a work trip to Austin, and we went there 3 times, and they never flew out.
Some of them had to fly out.
But like 3 flew out. It was like
They say
disappointing.
keep Austin
You just
weird,
missed
but
the
that's
time.
ridiculous.
I mean, there's thousands of people on this bridge waiting for the bats to come out, and the bats don't come out. And somebody said sometimes they don't always come
How
out.
big is this fucking bridge?
It's pretty big.
Yeah.
It's long.
I mean, I'm no stranger to a large bridge.
Do they live
but,
under the bridge?
They live under the bridge.
Yeah.
Under the bridge downtown.
Where bats sometimes fly out.
Under the bridge downtown. Except when Scott is there.
That was my line to say. I was going to say that.
Oh, were you going to say
Exactly what I was going to say.
that? Go ahead, say it.
No, you ruined it now. I'm glad they didn't fly out.
All right. You're glad they didn't fly out. Screw you, Scott. Number 7. The frozen margarita machine was invented in Dallas.
I'm not shocked by that.
Finally, something good from Dallas.
Texas Shade.
Apropos of our most recent cocktail episode, number 75, in May of 1971, which is more than 50 years ago, Mariano Martinez invented the frozen margarita machine by converting a soft serve ice cream machine, and you can still get his original recipe, frozen margarita, from one of his Dallas area restaurants.
Well, I'll tell you, Scott, interesting that as old as the margarita machine is, it's not as old as when a woman could get a credit card without the signature of a man, which is 50 years ago this week.
Wow.
They finally changed the law that a woman could get a credit card without a man's signature. 50 years ago. In other words, in Scott and I's lifetime, our mothers, when they birthed us, could not just go get a JCPenney or Macy's credit card without their husband signing off on it. Like, all right, hon, you can play with your card.
I feel like he created the frozen margarita machine just for women because now they have credit cards and they're going to go
Well,
drink
this was
frozen
before the credit card.
margarita.
Well, this is beforehand,
This
yeah.
this was to occupy them because they couldn't go shopping and they were sad.
It's the only way that they could,
That was 71. They didn't come out till 74 till they could get
Oh, so it was 3 years. Okay.
there. Yeah, 3 years of just margaritas that they couldn't buy. Unless her husband said they could.
Wow.
It's relevant.
Very.
Election year. Number 6. Austin isn't just the capital of Texas. It's the live music capital of the world.
Oh, it's a good music town.
Nashville's going to sue.
Yeah, I was
Right.
gonna say.
I know. Whether you're a fan of blues, rock, country, or any other genre, Austin has more live music venues per capita, over 250, than anywhere else in the world. In addition, the city is known for hosting major music festivals like South by Southwest and Austin City Limits, which feature eclectic lineups of artists from around the world, all of which contributes $1.8 billion to the state's economy.
Nice.
I was in Austin and I walked down that one street. I think it's 5th Avenue, right down the center of Austin. Every side of the street had a restaurant or a bar with live music playing out of it, like block after block after block after block. It was amazing. You couldn't possibly take in all of it. If you were a band in Austin, you are living large.
That is pretty
You
cool.
can just go up and down the street for
Pick
the whole
whatever
year.
genre. Yeah.
I might want to move there if it wasn't in Texas, but go ahead.
Yeah.
Texas Shade.
Yeah.
I don't do well in the heat.
That's true. Number 5. One Texas highway has the highest speed limit in America. Texas State Highway 130 is a toll road that circumvents the highly congested Interstate 35 between Austin and San Antonio, making it faster to get from point A to point B. But the 85-mile-hour speed limit along 41 miles of the road makes it even faster. 85.
Wow.
You know people are doing 100 because
Yeah.
people around here, speed limit 60, everyone's doing over
Yeah, I mean,
75.
I was doing 82 to get here. So
Yeah, exactly.
I don't think my car wants to do 100 miles an hour.
Mine certainly doesn't.
Right, so you're just basically just limited by what your car can do.
Exactly.
Okay, so all the rest of these are about how big Texas is, unless you guys want to do your bonus.
No,
ones.
go ahead. I want to hear it.
All right. Number 4. Texas is larger than most countries.
True.
Yeah.
At 268,820 square miles, the state of Texas, if it was still a country, would be 39th on the list of largest countries by area, which is bigger than Afghanistan, Madagascar, and every single country in Europe. But of course, it's not even the biggest U.S. state, as that honor goes to Alaska, which, if it was its own country, would rank 16th at 663,268 square miles.
Is California smaller than Texas?
Just a bit.
Yeah.
It's really close. I know that.
This reminds me of the fact that there's a rye whiskey from Alaska that I really want to try.
Oh, is there?
Yeah.
What is it? What's it called?
I forget what it's called. It's named after like a lake or something like that.
Alaskan rye.
Yeah. One day.
Number 3, A single ranch in Texas is larger than some countries and a U.S. state. Founded in 1853 in southern Texas between Corpus Christi and Brownsville, the King Ranch, which sprawls over 1,300 square miles across 6 counties, is larger than the state of Rhode Island and the country of Luxembourg.
My God.
Yeah.
13,000 square miles.
13,000 square miles.
How do you even navigate that?
I don't know. They do all kinds of stuff there, too. Anything that you think would be done on a ranch and more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's horrifying.
Yeah.
Who owns that?
Oh, I forget.
Like Ted.
What? Ted, Texas.
No, I'm trying to think of like there's one of those media Teds. Not,
Ted Turner? Not Ted Turner, but...
Yeah, not Ted Turner, not Ted Danson.
Oh, maybe it's Mark Cuban.
Oh, maybe.
Yeah.
That'd be dope.
He owns the Dallas Mavericks.
I'm a fan of him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, as billionaires go.
Yes.
Him and Taylor Swift, and that's about it.
Yeah, you can earn my favor as a billionaire.
Yeah, like giving us money.
That's one way to do it.
Yeah. Number 2. On the list of America's top 10 most populous cities, Texas has 3.
Okay.
Houston is 4th at 2.4 million people. San Antonio is 7th at 1.5 million people. And Dallas is 9th at 1.3, with Austin quickly rising in the ranks, coming in 11th at just under 1 million. For context, Philadelphia is 6th at 1.6 million.
Shout out to Philly.
Shout out to Philly.
So you got New York. What's the second most popular?
It's New York, L.A., Chicago.
Oh, LA's second. Okay.
Yeah.
It's not Tokyo at 20 million or whatever.
Not just in the U.S. Yeah.
Tokyo's crazy.
It is crazy. They're the biggest metropolitan area on Earth, aren't they?
It's weird because they don't really have super, super tall buildings because of all the earthquakes they have.
Yeah.
Right.
So they just sprawl, just like Mexico City.
Yeah.
If you've ever been in Mexico City, when you fly in there, it looks like an alien world. It's like nothing's over like 6 stories, it feels like, and it just keeps going forever. It's like someone took New York and just squished it
and
it
it
just
spread
out all over.
Number 1. This is my favorite fact about Texas. Texas's westernmost town is closer to California than its easternmost town. Think about that one.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Texas is so big that you can drive to California from their far west town of Anthony, Texas, faster than you can drive from Anthony to Beaumont, Texas, in the far east of the state. In other words, it takes more than 12 hours to travel 850 miles from Anthony to Beaumont, while a trip from Anthony to San Diego takes only 10 hours to travel 705 miles.
I mean, Beaumont sounds like it's in Louisiana.
Yeah,
so,
so-
like, let's just start there.
Basically, it's right across the border.
Yeah, exactly. So, like,
Fine, so
okay.
crossing the state is tougher than getting from Texas to California.
It's longer,
Yeah.
yeah.
Wow, that is crazy.
I know, isn't that fun?
Yeah.
The fun part is you have to go through other states. It's like not next door.
Oh, it's a hell of a drive.
Yeah, you got
I've
New
driven-
Mexico.
I drove from California to Texas. It's
Yeah.
Yeah, we saw the Grand Canyon on the way too.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
I've never seen Grand Canyon.
Maybe when we're on the way to Kentucky, we'll
Go to the Grand Canyon.
Isn't that a little bit, just a little bit?
It's close.
a little bit past. It's a little bit past Kentucky, just a little bit.
I almost did, but I was hungover. Like, I was in Sedona and made plans to go to the Grand Canyon, and I went to the movies instead.
Do you remember what you saw? Has to be a good movie.
I do actually.
Was it a good movie?
It was Captain America, the Winter Soldier,
Oh, okay.
which is, I think, one of the best Marvel movies.
It's a good one. Yeah.
It is a good one.
It's a good one.
It's not quite the Grand Canyon, but it's a damn good movie. I'll say that.
It's the Grand Canyon of Marvel movies.
When do I trash the Cowboys? I guess we went to drink the Cowboy.
Yeah,
bourbon?
we got to drink the Cowboy Bourbon. So this is the 5th and final whiskey that we're going to be tasting. This is from 2021, and Anders brought this with him. I have a description that is theirs.
Wait, before we get into it,
Yeah.
just understand that Anders is a New York Giants fan,
Let's go, Gina.
He is.
and Scott and I are lifetime Eagle fans.
We are.
The one thing we all share in common, besides our love for whiskey, is
And each other.
and each other, platonically, is our hatred for the Dallas Cowboys.
Absolutely.
And everything about them. The only thing that brings me happiness is the fact that, what year were you born, Anders? The one
91.
Right, so he was born, and then by the time he went to his first grade school, they were done winning anything. So ever since he was 5 years old, he's only known a pathetic.
Comparatively, like Jalen Hurts and Daniel Jones were born after.
Yes.
Yes.
And
after their
are
heyday.
playing against the Cowboys in the same division.
Yeah.
Since the last time they made it to the divisional round.
Yeah. There was a joke going around before the recent few where they did actually get into the playoffs and win a game in the playoffs.
Good on them.
The thing was, like, in order to watch a Cowboys playoff win, you had to watch it on VHS.
Yes. Texas Shade.
Right. They won a conference title just last year, I guess. I take that back. That's the Dallas Mavericks. They did.
Well, talking about Mark Cuban.
The rest of the Dallas sports teams, like the Stars and the Mavs, are just like, what the fuck are you doing? Get it together, bitch.
More than the team itself that annoys us. It's like you haven't been good in 28 years. I mean, you've been good, but you haven't won anything. And yet you still swag around like it's 1997. You know what I mean? Like from your owner down, it's just this unbelievable entitlement to be America's team. America's team should win once in a while. Okay? I'm going to say that, Dallas. Y'all should win once in a while. All right? All the Giants did was take out the greatest quarterback who ever lived whenever they felt like winning a championship.
Twice.
Right? So,
Yeah.
I mean, and guess who else did it? We did it.
Yep.
we did.
We beat them too.
With a backup quarterback.
Right. The only guys who could beat them. And I can't wait to play you guys again because I'm just so sick of the entitlement that you guys walk around with your big giant Dallas flags hanging on the back of your trucks and your stupid jackets with the faded 93, 95, whatever down the sleeve, celebrating stuff before you even remember it. Raising your kids in this dream. Don't get me started. Listen to me, Dallas.
Listen close.
You've ruined Texas for me. I mean, there's a chance that Garrison Brothers can be the catalyst
It can redeem.
for bringing me back to the state of Texas.
That's right. I'm totally agreement with you. Yeah.
Because Garrison Brothers is friendship and love and deliciousness. All right. So I want to thank Garrison Brothers for really giving me something to like Texas for.
Right. Yeah. So we're going to pretend that Dan and Charlie are fans of the Houston Texans and not the Dallas Cowboys.
Right.
Yeah.
We don't know that.
We don't know that, but we're going to pretend.
Right, but they did name this the Cowboy Bourbon, so, but not
Well,
the Cowboys Bourbon. So I'm
correct.
assuming
No, never.
that this goes and speaks to the long heritage of the cowboy in Texas folklore and history.
Yeah, so the description that they have for that is it takes a special barrel to create a bourbon nectar sweet enough to be enjoyed at such a high proof. The potency normally overpowers the flavor. This ain't the case with Cowboy Bourbon. It's so sweet, the flavor overpowers its proof, and you can thank the Texas heat for that. But as delicious as it all sounds, make sure you proceed with caution. Barrel-proof bourbon is not for everyone, but for something strong enough to run a car engine, the finish is incredibly smooth, which makes it ideal for summertime drinking. This stuff was heat forged in Texas after all.
There you go.
Yeah.
All right, so 131.3 proof. I'm going to drink it in its raw form. First, I'm going to smell it, but I'm going to drink it, and then I'll put water in. I'm not going to mess with it too long without putting water in it. Ooh. Oh, the nose.
Oh my God. This is similar to the Guadalupe.
Yes.
It's deep and rich and dark sugar and dark fruits.
Very much burnt sugar on this, maybe cinnamon sugar.
Yeah, bacon spices are back.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my God, this smells amazing.
Yeah, this was like, I'm almost getting like some cherries, but it's also very creamy.
Dark cherry.
Burnt sugar creme brulee, a thickness of like a vanilla cake or shortbread.
Ooh, I like the vanilla cake, like a birthday cake.
Yeah, yes.
That kind of cloyingly sweet birthday cake, but it's not cloyingly sweet in here because there's so much other stuff going on. Yeah. I'm getting leather and tobacco.
Getting stone fruits.
What is that scent? It's almost like toffee, but more bitter than toffee. Oh, like molasses.
Yeah.
Oh my God, it smells like a Jamaican rum.
Yes.
Yeah. You're right on the money with
Right
that.
on the money with that. You're 100% right. Yeah, it's that type of vanilla.
Yes, the vanilla is there.
The vanilla molasses of an aged rum.
Wow. This is awesome.
I suggest putting water in like I did.
Woo. Okay. Whoa.
Because it's really fiery without the water.
If you enjoy high proof whiskey,
Yeah.
it doesn't need it, but it does welcome it.
I like that.
And I'll add on a little anecdote from Charlie, which was during our first meeting at this whiskey dinner that we did back in 2019. One of our guests asked him, "Why would you make a whiskey this hot?" And he said, "I live in the desert in Texas, and sometimes in the summer, I like to drink my whiskey on the rocks."
Oh.
Nobody challenged him. It is so great, neat, with a couple of drops of water, even over a big cube or a globe.
Yeah, you can definitely ride this out on over a globe for
is.
sure.
It's so dense.
For sure.
Yeah.
It's incredibly dark.
Yes, it's delicious whiskey.
I taste everything that I smelled.
Yep.
It's one of the most perfect transitions from nose to taste.
Tasted the vanilla, the creme brulee. It doesn't taste like a rum per se, but there's some notes on the finish that make you feel like you could have sipped a very high proof rum.
Yeah. Or very high proof rum finished bourbon.
Possible.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh my God, there's so much on here. Did you guys put water in?
I did.
I didn't put water in
I
mine.
did not yet, actually.
I'm going to put like 5.
I put like 6-7 drops.
Yeah.
I
think
I'm being a maniac.
be like Sue and just dump half the bottle in.
like my proof point demands this get down under 120.
Yeah. And I totally understand that. 131.3, I think this is. Yeah. Whew.
Where'd you come up with this bottle?
This. So, Scott didn't go over the pricing, but this
Oh,
was...
no, I didn't. All right. So wait, the proof, we just said 131.3. The age is over 3 years. I think it's just their favorite barrels that they have. They're, quote, honey barrels. The same mash bill as we've been saying before, 74, 15 wheat, 11 malted barley. The MSRP is $250, but that was in 2023.
Yeah.
The average right now is 381 on the secondary and up to a high of 500.
Yeah.
So what did you get it for, Anders?
This was my Christmas bonus.
Oh, at the lounge in 2021.
Yeah, 2021.
Yeah, 200 and ish. Yeah. You don't work there anymore.
I don't. Have you guys alluded to that?
We have. We said you did move on from the lounge to
Broken Goblet.
Broken Goblet.
Yeah. I miss it so much.
Yeah.
I love that place. I came on and I opened that bar and I was there.
Yeah, it's your baby.
That was my baby.
Yeah.
And
over 5 years.
Yeah. After 5 years, I needed to make a little bit of a change and I wanted to get out of the process of just serving delicious whiskey and learn a little bit about making some delicious whiskey.
Yeah.
So
yeah. And
I'd
they're
love
just
see
starting to do that. Right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they just laid down their first barrels, right?
Yeah. The distillery is called Spirit Animal.
Oh, nice. I like
I
it.
love that. Yeah.
And we just launched our vodka and gin, which are tremendous.
Oh, good.
I wouldn't be there and I wouldn't advocate for it if I didn't believe in what we were doing.
And obviously you're using those things in cocktails that you make.
Yeah,
Yeah,
of course.
Using
And
your own stuff.
We have some single malt that we have resting right now.
Oh, nice.
Made from some phenomenal German style beer.
Cool.
Which will, take a little bit of time, but that'll be around.
Awesome.
I'll be updating Ed and Scott and all of you.
Great. Anything
Damn,
else?
this whiskey's good.
Yeah.
I know. Anything else you guys are getting on this? Because I have the notes again from whiskey in my writing. Wedding ring. I can't even. Fucked it up again. Irish wristwatch.
There you go. You got it.
I'm just going to put that every time I said it.
Irish
so I said
wristwatch.
it perfect. every time.
There you go.
On the nose, hot as hell, smoky maple sweetness,
Yep.
macerated red fruits, and crispy pretzels. Macerated red fruits.
I've never heard that before. I love that just uniqueness of a tasting.
It's
note.
pouring sugar over chopped fruit.
Yeah.
It draws the wetness
I
out.
just never heard it before.
Yeah.
Step in making sangria.
On the palate, not as hot as expected, with brown sugar and maple smoke, lots of tobacco and char, and burnt maple candies.
I think that's the thing that astounds me the most is it is not as hot as you expect.
Yeah.
Right.
It's incredibly smooth for 131.3.
Yeah.
It's hot. Don't get it twisted. But
No,
it's
yeah.
more like a 115 hot.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's not like, oh, what is this, 90? No, you're not like that.
Yeah. Not all.
You know it's hot, but there's so many whiskeys at 115 or 120 that will kill you a lot more than this one.
Yeah. I think of all the ones that we tasted, if you're a rum fan, this is right up your alley.
Yep.
Because it's got those funky flavors that you get in a nice dark rum.
It's such a unique whiskey. Not everyone's going to want to go out and get this because of the price. So personally, I would buy the Guadalupe.
Yeah.
I would.
Yeah.
I like the flavor profile of that just fine.
I think dollar for taste, it is their best deal.
Yeah.
Because it's the most flavorful one and it's the cheapest of their most flavorful ones.
Right.
If you know what I mean.
Yeah, the Balmorhea is close. I mean, I can't get mad for people who like it better than the Guadalupe.
No, of course not.
But I'm doing the Guadalupe, I think.
Guadalupe.
Plus, it's fun to say Guadalupe.
It is Guadalupe.
Guadalupe.
All right, so we can talk about their other whiskeys. So this list was longer before Anders came here because Anders brought 2 extra whiskeys that I took off.
Oops.
Not a bad thing. They have something called the High Rye. So High Texas, HYE is where they're located. So they made a High Rye. Get it? It's 98 proof. It's 5 years aged, 52% corn, 37% rye, 11% malted barley. Only 1,200 have ever been produced. And unfortunately, they seem to be out of stock everywhere I looked, so I don't know what it cost or tasting notes or anything, but
On the secondary market is $12,000.
I know there might be some out there still. They have a single barrel that's typically 94 proof. It's aged at least 3 years. That's $100.
That's a good one. That's a really good whiskey, actually.
Yeah, you've had their single barrels?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just a regular one that's single barreled, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. They have something called Lady Bird, which is honey-infused cognac finished bourbon. So basically the honeydew that we had, that they further finished in XO cognac casks. It's 114 proof, 4 years and 7 months in the original and the honey, and then an extra 3 years in the cognac.
Wow, 3 years.
3 years.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
That's something I haven't had a chance to try. I tried to get my hands on, I just couldn't.
What's that go for?
180.
$180, I think.
Yeah. The tasting notes they had here is buckwheat pancakes, dark chocolate, malted milk balls, cognac-infused cherries, and dried fig. And the last one is the Laguna Madre, double oak bourbon finished in French Limousin oak. 4 years, 101 proof, root beer, vanilla, hazelnut, saltwater taffy, rich chocolate flavored like an adults only candy bar.
Don't tell me that for whiskeys that expensive.
$150 is the MSRP of the latest version of that.
If anyone would like to buy and send me one of those, I am taking offers.
Garrison Brothers would like us to feature that on the podcast. They can just send us that bottle.
That's right. We will do a quick taste whenever they send it to us.
That's right. All right, listen, I want to thank Garrison Brothers for working so hard to bring Texas whiskey to us in a way that we can enjoy it.
Yep.
No offense to Balcones, but that wasn't our cup of tea. This sure is.
This is amazing.
And it gives us something from Texas to kind of smile about. Yeah. Like, aw, Garrison Brothers, thanks.
Oh, look at you.
Yeah.
You're so cute. Look at you.
Yeah, Guadalupe. All right, so hopefully we'll be able to do something with Garrison Brothers down the road sometime. We like their stuff.
Amazing. We have a connection. Anders knows Charlie.
Yeah.
Yeah, me and Charlie go way
They go
back.
way back.
Way back. 2019.
And so I think we've covered everything we need to cover.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So for the Whiskey Tangent Podcast, I'm Ed.
I'm Scott.
I'm Anders.
If you can grab some Garrison Brothers that's affordable in your price range, give it a try. There's some good-ass whiskey. Cheers, everybody.
Later.